Welcome to the Black Girl Burnout podcast. Kelley here. And today we are continuing our conversation about ending the year with softness. Last week, we talked about the great crash out of 2025 and how that's impacting everyone, and some options for you to not crash out and alternatively stop pushing yourself so hard and let your year land softly, let your body rest, let yourself find some peace, some joy, and some gratitude at the end of the year. Today, we're going to have an honest and compassionate conversation about something that's been weighing on me and something I know so many of you are feeling but really haven't had the words for. We are living through a moment where empowerment feels like it's been replaced with performance, and wellness has become an aesthetic. I think this is a global phenomenon. Several things are kind of happening at once. If you scroll on your social media or look on the television, it's becoming really scary out here. And Black women, us particularly, are being told again that who we are is somehow not enough unless we're curated, optimized, glamorous, and then unbothered at all times. From watching women put actual waist trainers on at their place of employment to six-figure accomplished women in the corporate spaces or in entrepreneurship being told they have to go and get a second job and do content creating all of a sudden, to the soft life becoming this pressure-filled brand instead of a liberatory practice, to the heartbreaking wave of women I have seen publicly grieving their worth because they haven't found a partner, they don't have children. Something is happening and something is off. And today I want to name it, unpack it, and most importantly, offer a different way. And I want to do it all with love and without judgment. This isn't me criticizing or hating on the content that I'm seeing. It is an alarm bell that is ringing to me that I want to make sure is communicated clearly. That if you are crashing out, the last thing you need to be told is get a side hustle. If you are crashing out, the last thing you need to be told is now's the time to find love. There seems to be something going on in the globe that the vibes are off. And usually they're recession indicators, and they are basically a warning bell that capitalism isn't capitalisming like it used to. So let's get women to be thinner, be prettier, find a man, make six figures, make seven figures, and I'll do that while wearing high heels. It's scary. And I say this with love, we have to try something different. So what is going on here? Let's start with the obvious. Social media has turned improvement into a performance. It's no longer enough to be well. You have to look well. You have to look productive. You have to look put together. You have to look perfect. And when you're a Black woman, that pressure gets weaponized. I see videos telling women, there's no excuse. We have got to be hot this year. Yes, do your full face of makeup before your 6 a.m. commute. Get up at 4 a.m., run 3 miles, and then go to work. Get a second job so you can maintain the lifestyle of brand name luxury goods, fantastic luxury trips and vacations. And the fact is, so many of us are just trying to keep the jobs that underpay and undervalue us. We're trying to navigate chronic stress. We're trying to raise children, survive the news cycle, heal from trauma, get through the end of the day. We got to look hot too while we do it. So the messages on top of all of that, do more, look better, hustle prettier, that's not empowerment. That is performance-based worthiness. And it is exhausting. And I want to unpack for you what is happening. Because it is not that your favorite influencers all of a sudden care about makeup more than they care about rest or soft life. It is that the economy is driving that. Who invests in you directs your content. And what the global economy is doing directs what people invest in, what they're willing to pay for. And people are not interested in soft life anymore. Now it is a 55 skincare step routine. You must look good. There's no excuse not to be hot. It is obsession with luxury goods and luxury vacations. It is obsession with corsets in 2025. Every time I see a waist trainer ad, I literally want to scream. We are not Going back to corsets, y'all. We are not fainting so our stomachs can be thinner. The most freeing thing you could do for yourself is let your stomach breathe. Just let it exist, girl. We are not restricting ourselves, squishing ourselves, overly cosmetically enhancing ourselves. Now we have to go get the peel, the microneedle, the Botox, all of it at once. And again, I am not saying this from a space of judgment. If you know me, you know a couple things about me. One, I'm going to be in my bathroom with the most luxurious, beautiful skincare I can find. I take my skincare routine mega serious because it brings me joy. And that's the difference. I am not doing my skincare routine so you can think I'm hot or a man can validate me. I am doing my skincare routine because it makes me happy and I feel radiant on the inside and I want to look radiant on the out. I want my joy to be visible. You will see me working out and trying to adjust my workout schedule and push myself a little bit, not because I need my stomach to be a certain inch requirement, but because I only get one body and I want to enjoy it. I want it to move really well. I want to feel good. I want to feel strong. One thing about me is I go to a cosmetic dermatologist, y'all. I absolutely do. I microneedle. I like luxury perfume. So this is not about an indictment on women who want to take care of their skin, work out and feel good. You want to do Botox and microneedling? Come sit by me. Let's talk about it. I'm not judging women or you for loving those things. I am simply saying when these things are weaponized and what is a should, a maybe, explore, I'm interested in becomes a must, becomes the key to your worth, that somehow if you don't microneedle, you're not hot, you're not worthy. No man will find you unless you're a certain size. Do not fall into the trap of performative self-improvement. You don't need to have a manicure, pedicure, microneedle, luxury bag and clothing, waist size 25 inches to be improved or to be healthy. Because when you get stuck into must doing these things, you have to do it. It's the only way to be attractive or valuable. That's when you set yourself up for exhaustion. Every time I see these day in the lives videos, I'm like, how are y'all functioning? I worked in the corporate environment. I was in the C-suite. And let me tell you something. Getting through the day with eyeliner on, I was applauding myself. I was tired. I was also very effective. And let me tell you also, every job I've ever gotten, none of the bosses ever were like, it was your look. That's why we got you the promotion. Now, granted, if I came to work looking like I rolled out of bed, yes, that would absolutely impact my professional progression. But at the end of the day, my talent, not my manicure, is what got my promotions and got me to the C-suite. And once I got there, when I looked around, I'm like, y'all look good, but the aesthetics are not what you think they are with the people who are making the money and changing the world. So do not buy the lie that you can hustle prettier, be thinner, look expensive, and that automatically translates to partnership, to promotion, to someone valuing your presence. And why this is especially dangerous for Black women is because we are already sitting at this kind of cross point and intersection of multiple pressures in our lives. Most Black women struggle with the pressure to be exceptional. We're told that like rest, softness, and imperfection are luxuries you have to earn. And that's only after you've overworked and burned yourself out. We're taught also, we can't be too sexy. We have to be palatable, but we also have to be attractive or quote unquote feminine in systems that don't even make room for that. We're fighting against cultural stereotypes, and yet we're trying to be all those things at the same time. Then you add this pressure to be endlessly resilient. We're expected to endure stress with a smile, to struggle but make it beautiful, and to never crack under the weight of the world that is a lot of times on our shoulders. So when online wellness starts to shift to like aesthetic discipline, when the glow up becomes a full-time job, and when like the soft life becomes this expensive display of luxury, or now we're telling people, oh, soft life's not where it's at. I'm trying to hustle, girl. I'm not trying to do soft life. When that is prioritized instead of the path to liberation and freedom, Black women, we are a primary target and victims of that kind of distortion of performance based worthiness. And I want to pause and say, it's not your fault if you've internalized any of this. And it's not your fault if you've participated in it. And that includes myself. There have been many temptations for me to jump in, to buy more skincare products, to download another workout routine that is just insane. I'm not doing it. I'm looking at people on the internet and being like, their makeup is flawless. Their hair is perfect. Their body is everything. How do I get that? So, again, this is not about judgment. This isn't about vilifying people who create this content, and it's certainly not about vilifying us who consume it, respond to it, and love it. There are content creators that I keep around because I do like the way their nails look. I do like the way they do their skincare, but it's my attitude around it. I no longer allow that to be a must. And if it doesn't bring me joy, it makes me feel despair. I pause it for a while. So again, it's not your fault if you've internalized any of this or participated in any of this. The truth is, you're responding to systems built to make you feel like you're not enough. It's not you, it's them. Let's be real. One of the biggest sources of burnout for Black women is money. Whether it's debt, divorce, home buying, investing, or just trying to make it to the next paycheck, financial stress is real and it's exhausting. But here's something that can help: the Savvy Ladies Helpline. It's free. Yes, really free. You get 55 minutes with a certified financial expert, no strings, no judgment, just real answers to your real money questions. Want to build wealth, prep for retirement, figure out how to invest or navigate money after a breakup? They've got you. Savvy Ladies is on a mission to make financial education accessible to all women, and the helpline is a game changer. So if money is stealing your peace, I invite you to take one powerful step toward financial freedom. Visit savvyladies.org and book your free session today. You don't have to struggle alone. You can opt out of burnout and into clarity, confidence, and peace with your money. As someone who suffers with anemia, I know all too well how life-altering iron deficiency can be. Whether it's the overwhelming fatigue, the dry and brittle nails, the difficulty concentrating, it takes a toll. And then sometimes the supplements and treatments for iron deficiency have unpleasant side effects. That's why I'm excited about Citarol. Citarol from PharmaNutra is a premium iron supplement powered by sucrosomial technology. This helps your body absorb 3 to 4 times more iron while avoiding the common side effects of traditional iron supplements, the nausea and constipation. Citarol stands apart with 150 published clinical studies, unlike most supplement brands that have little to no clinical research. It's globally trusted and it's convenient. You can take it at any time, so there's no need to adjust your meals. It fits seamlessly into your day. It's 100% allergen-free, it's vegan and gluten-free. So if you're nodding along and I'm describing the symptoms because you are exhausted and your brain feels like it's in a fog, this could be exactly what you need. Join over 2 million people who have already discovered Citarol and found the help they needed. Head to pharmanutra-us.com and use the code BGB for 10% off your first order of Citarol. That's pharmanutra-us.com. Promo code BGB for 10% off today. The other thing I've been seeing, and I want to handle this with real tenderness, is me watching brilliant, accomplished women crying or looking distressed because they believe no one's ever going to love them. If they're not chosen, they're not going to be successful. If they don't have a partner, they're not valuable. This is heartbreaking. And it's not just the pain that I'm seeing, it's the fact that this belief system is coming from patriarchy. This is what patriarchy does. It convinces women that their existence is only validated when they have a partner. It makes personal milestones feel insignificant without accompanying romantic ones or having children. It erases whole beautiful lives because they don't fit a narrative. And when we see it show up in Black spaces, it makes it worse. It amplifies the insecurity. Like, did I do something wrong? Why am I alone? What does it say about me? And I want to answer those questions. Here's what it really says: nothing. It says nothing about your worth. You are not a failed project. You are not a half finished story waiting for someone else's stamp of approval. What you are witnessing is an identity crisis. And if you're not careful and you're not grounded, that stuff's contagious. It's like a spiritual flu. You will catch it. And I want to distinguish this from the grief of maybe realizing partnership didn't come to you the way you wanted it to, or at the time you're looking for it, or grieving wanting to have children and not being able to do that. That is valid. Again, this isn't about judging. Why? Because I have felt that way. And I have had measures of grief for how my life was going to turn out. If you'd asked 25-year-old Kelley what 35 was going to look like for me, I was going to tell you, I am going to be partnered and I'm going to have children. It was my goal. And then when partnership wasn't as important to me, when I emerged into my late 20s and my early 30s, it became about having a child. I was going to single adopt. Anyone who knows me from that time period in my life knows I was very laser focused on being a mom by 35. I'm here to tell y'all, I'm not a mom. And the person that was me, that wanted to be the mom, that Kelley, that was so excited to have a baby and to raise a child and to love up on that child and to watch that child grow into a beautiful adult. That Kelley, there was a part of me that grieved her when I made the conscious decision at 35 that I was too tired, that my priorities had shifted and being a mom was not something I wanted for myself. Now I'm very comfortable with that. But I want to be clear, that did not start that way. I cried and mourned for the person that I wanted to be, the Kelley who would have been a fantastic mom, especially if I had been partnered when I did that. I'm not here to sit in judgment for your grief. I've grieved it and I felt it. But again, I want to draw the line between what is the grief we carry as individuals for dreams that didn't get fulfilled and our worth. I never grieved feeling less than because I wasn't a mom. I grieved for the little chubby hands I didn't get to hold. I grieved for the fact that I wanted to dress up my baby in certain outfits and tell them about science or whatever they were curious about, to give them big ol' hugs and big kisses. I grieved that, but I never let it make me feel less. That's the difference. I grieved that I thought I would be married by a certain point in my life. I thought I would have dual income. I grieved for that, Kelley, but I never thought that I was less because in my case, for me, a man didn't put a ring on my finger. And more importantly, I work very hard to make sure that I let the world know it will never devalue me because I don't have a partner and I chose not to have children. Hopefully, I'm communicating this difference because I want to say this with love. If you are feeling pulled and reduced by this narrative that you're not good enough, if you're not attractive, if you're not thin, if you're not validated specifically by a man, and I am calling out heterosexuality and men because it's specifically an issue in that arena. If you are not worthy because you don't have children, that is the part I want you to fight against and reject. Not grieving for circumstances you desired that didn't happen. Grieve, feel the feelings. I feel them, but I don't allow it to tell me that somehow I am less because of the grief I carry, because of the joy I feel without those things, and that I don't allow racist, sexist narratives and standards of beauty, of partnership determine who I am because I know who I am. I know I'm beautiful. I like my body. It's not perfect, but it's mine. I worked hard for it. I know that who I partner with is an extension of myself, but it is not my whole self. It will never tell the full story about who I am. And motherhood is precious and beautiful, but choosing to opt out of it or not being able to participate in it does not impact my value. These trends that we're seeing aren't harmless. They have a real emotional toll. When you let the world set your worth through these ridiculous external sexist and racist standards, the cost is more burnout, more shame, more comparison, more overfunctioning, more financial strain, more self-policing of your body, and a whole lot less. Less joy, less presence, less rest, less authenticity. When you're constantly trying to embody this idealized version of yourself, you lose access to the parts of yourself that need your care the most. And that is the real loss. So, what is the option? What can I do? If I participate in this, or I feel this way, or I'm getting emotional thinking about this, Kelley, because I do feel like I'm not enough. If you are feeling that way, what is the alternatives? I want to talk about a core theme of this podcast that I've not really said out loud and clearly, that is going to be a turning point in how I think about the content going into next year. And that is about something called soft life liberation. This is the pivot I'm making because we're not staying in this state of criticism and devaluing ourselves. We're getting free. There's like one of my favorite songs by an artist called Mariba called Get Free. And the chorus is, I don't want to get by. I just want to get free. And that is the foundation of Black Girl Burnout from here on out. We are all about soft life liberation because soft life liberation says you don't have to suffer to be valuable. You don't have to optimize yourself to be worthy. And you don't need to fit a narrow aesthetic to be soft. You don't need a partner to be complete. I want you to sit with that because I really believe what we need more than ever as Black women is the freedom to be soft. And it's not just about, a movement. No, we're going to bring some real structure in this podcast and this movement to give you the tools to free yourself, to not just get by anymore, but to get free. And this is where the 4 pillars of this podcast and hopefully of your life come in, because it's going to be the foundation of the soft life liberation movement we are going to build together. And that is, we're going to create a life that is joy and ease first. We are going to center joy and ease. We are going to create practical healing for real life. I am going to dive into tools that you can do right away that are practical, that are not exhausting, that can make your life better and make the life you have today better, not the imaginary one that will unlock when you get up at 5 a.m. every day, lose 20 pounds, cross off 55 goals, and do it all in a full glam. This is to meet you in the real, messy, tired moment we might all be in. I also want to talk a lot more about pleasure, joy, and creative living. We just don't talk enough about having more pleasure in our lives and how you can do that. Instead of being hot in 5 minutes or less, let's talk about having more pleasure in your life in 5 minutes or less. Let's talk about more joy in your life in 5 minutes or less. Let's talk about creative living in 5 minutes or less. And lastly, I want to talk about money, work, and productivity without burnout. Because one thing about me, I'm always going to be a pragmatist. Y'all got to pay your bills. Okay, you have to find jobs that pay you enough to live your life, and let's hope you like it. And you have to be able to get things done in your day without wanting to die by the end of it. So productivity tools, work tools, money tools, that's all coming. It's something that I'm certified in. I teach Ivy League staff members, institutions, and government agencies all this work. I teach them how to be more productive, how to practically implement solutions for stress and mindfulness. I'm certified in all this, and I just need to bring more of that to this podcast because that's how I'm living my life. I'm living my life in a space of joy, and I'm also working very hard. And I'm also getting things done and accomplishing goals at a much higher rate than my peers. And it's because of these tools that I want to bring to the podcast. While this is the new direction of Black Girl Burnout, these pillars are not a new brand I'm bringing to the podcast per se. And it is a bold, strong stance and refusal to be shaped by the systems that were never meant to nourish us. So, as we close out today's episode, I really want to create a soft reality check practice for you. Just a little gentle exercise where first step you do is notice one message you've absorbed about how you should be, whether it's prettier or thinner or more disciplined or more partnered or more polished. So step one, notice that one message. Then step two, ask, who benefits from me believing this? And I want to give you a spoiler alert. It's probably not you. And then the third step is replace it with one soft truth. I'm allowed to rest, or my worth is inherent, or my life doesn't have to be performative. How about this one? I get to choose ease. So let me share with you how this might work. For me, I would say a message that I've absorbed is that there is shame in aging, that getting older is somehow a bad thing, and I need to fight against everyone and everything to look younger than I am, to be prettier than I ever am, to glow up like I've never done before. It's something I wrestle with regularly. And then I have to ask myself the step two, which is who benefits from me believing this? Not me. Because if I'm panicking about a new wrinkle that showed up, that's not to my benefit. But I tell you who's the benefit of the money I have spent, y'all, on skincare, the money I have spent on supplements specifically to stop aging. I'm not necessarily benefiting, or I'm having limited benefits because some of those supplements were a great idea and I needed them. I'm not saying that supplements are bad or that skincare is bad, but I am honest about the fact that the person who benefits the most if I try 55 products instead of 5 that work, that I keep switching to find the latest and greatest aging product, it's not me who's benefiting. Those things have limited benefit at some point. And guess what? I'm getting older and wrinkles are going to come with age. That's called life. And so one of the things I then do for step 3 is I replace it with the soft truth of, I am beautiful because I am. So try this practice. Identify the message that you're getting. Really think about who's benefiting from you believing that message, and then replace it with one soft truth. At the end of the day, you're not behind. You're not failing at quote unquote womanhood. That's a whole nother thing for another day. And you're not supposed to live your life as a performance for other people, as a walking advertisement for the consumption of others because you're hot, you're thin, you're this, you're partnered, you got a good looking person on your arm. You're allowed to choose a path that feels human and gentle, grounded and real. And that's where we're going in our next episode. We're going to revisit the soft lock-in I talked about earlier, but make it even softer. We're going to focus on capacity and nervous system safety and give your tired mind, body, spirit, heart the reset it's been asking for. So that's it for today's episode. You know what I'm going to ask you, which is if you're enjoying the podcast, please consider sharing this with a woman who needs to hear this messaging, subscribing to the podcast, and leaving a review. We are on a mission to get to 800 plus reviews on Spotify and 700 plus reviews on Apple. I have the best listeners. Y'all are the best. I freely brag about this. And I'm always thrilled when I read your comments, and I read them all. VC from Spotify side of the house wrote, fantastic episode, Kelley. You and your efforts are deeply appreciated and deeply impactful. Keep doing the work that you do in an easeful, restorative way that supports the life you want to live. VC, thank you. I'm rereading that again because that comment was so wonderful. It's just an example of the kinds of comments you leave that keep me going and that for free directly impact the podcast's ability to attract sponsors, to make money, to make compelling cases for people to invest in Black Girl Burnout. Because it is radical to say, I'm not going to get caught up in pushing only one narrative. I want to push liberation. And so you all taking 10 seconds to even just click the 5 stars, you don't have to leave words, makes a huge difference. Follow Black Girl Burnout across all the channels. It's Black Girl Burnout on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on my baby Substack. We're 15,000 strong and growing in less than a year. It's a good time over there, a really good time. All right, y'all, I think that's it. I'll see you next week. And until then, take care of yourself, take care of each other, be kind, and remember, softness is not a luxury. It's liberation.